Hello everyone, my name is Mike V from Crafted Ark Studios and welcome to our channel and the company. Basically our company is a game development company which we teach you how to create basics of games, or you follow along. We're gonna basically you know the basics of a game development. If you came here, then you're in the right place for gaming. So basically what today we're doing is we are going to do sort of something like a development diary. If you guys know what those are, development of a game. We are currently working on a zombie survival game called the Restless Divide. I'm not going to get too much into it because we're going to do separate videos on how to what the game's about and all that stuff eventually. So basically a zombie survival game in which you can fly and all that stuff, and we're going to start from the beginning here, and we're going to move our way up and hopefully gain some fans and some love and see who follows the game. Right now we are starting off with the first step of the game, which is terrain building. So you could either use this as a tutorial as well if you guys want to learn how to build your own terrain, or if you guys want to, I'll go briefly over what things that I'm going to do and show you exactly what I'm going to do, but this is basically the way we're going to build the terrain. So first off, before we even start, what you guys want to do is basically have a perspective of how you want your map to be. I think that is the most important thing you want to do, because you can't just build a map without knowing exactly where everything's going to be. So you need to figure out exactly where there's going to be flat land and all that stuff. And as you can see in the beginning of the video, I noted down exactly what the programs I used. So if you guys have a different program, you guys can use whatever program you want. But these are the programs I'm using right now, which is 3ds Max and Mudbox and World Machine, and maybe Cryengine, or we're probably going to use our own hardcore engine from the coder Michael S. Yes, we do have the same name, and he is the lead programmer in the game, and I'm the lead terrain editor and all that. The model, well, not models, but I'm the terrain editor and all that stuff. So basically where the terrain's going to be. And I'm here just to teach you a little bit of what I know and to show you the start. This is the starting of the videos for Crafted Ark Studios, and this is the start for our terrain. Alright, so enough of me talking. So like I said, the first thing you want is you want a format of how your map is going to be, where cities are going to be, or where towns are going to be, or exactly where let's see, mountains and all that stuff, mountain ranges. Alright, so let's get with it. Let's get into it. So for 3ds Max, if you're using 3ds Max, you're going to want to create a plane. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click here in the plane box right here, and we're going to click the plane, and we're going to drag this from this corner of the end to all the way of the other side of the corner, which is going to make a box shaped plane. So right here we go into parameters of the length and width. We're going to change the length and width to 512 by 512. This is going to probably be the simplest part of the tutorial. I'm not sure how to zoom out. I forgot how to in this thing. Oh, never mind. There we go. Whoops, zoomed out a little bit too much. Feels like we're playing a little game here. Alright. So as you guys can see here is the whoops, sorry, messing around here. Here is the plane, where our game is going to be and how it's going to start off with, how this is going to be. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add segs. Segs is basically the resolution of your game, and you don't want to have too much of this. It could make subdivide or subdivision, sort of. You don't want to have too much of that because it could make your game lag, and we don't want that. If you want to have the most you want is about 4 million subdivision for that matter, for terrain, but we'll get into that in Mudbox. So now that we did the length and width 512 by 512, we're going to go to length segs and width segs. So we're going to bring the width segs up to up to 6, and we're going to bring the width segs, the length segs up to 6 and width segs up to 6. So it's going to be like that. It's going to build more squares, as you can see, which is the segs. Believe it or not, we're done here already. As you can see, the way we did it, we already have the plane, we're already done here. So the next thing what we're going to do is we're actually going to export this into a OBJ so Mudbox can read it. Only do this, make sure you pay attention to this, it's going to be OBJ. Also, note to self, if you guys are making the terrain, make sure everything is neat. If you want to be like a terrain editor and all that stuff, or a programmer, you want to make sure everything is neat. As you can see, I already created a TRD terrain folder, which stands for the Restless Divide. Again, make sure everything is neat, have everything in certain areas. Like this right here, I have the terrain plane, which is this. I made this folder in order for you guys to, like, you know, where you have the, make sure you just know where everything is. Okay, so now for save as type, you're gonna want to look for OBG, which is right here. So make sure your save as type is OBG, and the file name, we're gonna name this TRD terrain, and we're gonna put in parentheses flat as well. So desktop, again, TRD terrain, terrain plane, and we're gonna save this. You don't need to do anything here. All you gotta do is just hit export, and you should hit done there. Alright, so now we're done with that. Now what you're gonna do is open up Mudbox. Once you have Mudbox open, we're just gonna start, you know, fixing up the, we're gonna import the terrain, well, the plane. So in order to do that, you want to go into File, Import, and once you're in the import section, you're gonna look for where you exported the terrain. So it should be in my terrain plane folder, which is right here, and you can hit open. Okay, so now before we start doing this, we're gonna rename this plane mesh. Okay, so now that we've done that, we renamed it to mesh. We're going to go in here are these options: layers, object list, all that stuff. So you're gonna go into object list, and you're gonna go into perspective, sorry, and you're gonna change the FOV to 50. Alright, so now that we've done that, we're actually gonna subdivide this a bit. So in order to do that, you can either go to here, mesh, add new subdivision level, but make sure you select the layer, or you can just hit Shift D. I recommend Shift D. So we're just going to subdivide this up to level 4, which is at 9,260 polygons. And yeah, so that's basically what you're going to do now. After you do all that, we are, let me see, whoops, sorry, see if I can move around. Alright, sorry, I'm just getting used to the keys again. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is, here are the stamps and all that stuff. You're just gonna hit off for that. Now what we're gonna do is bring up the brush size a little bit here, and this may look small to you, but this world will be humongous, and whatever engine you're using, you can expand it to wherever you want to do it, you know. So as you can see, I'm gonna name down the cities where I'm gonna have the cities. Over here is where shoreside, let me read this again, shoreside city is. Over here is where Greystone Mountains is going to be, so this is where I'm going to build the mountains, and over here is Greystone City as well, and over here is Warstock City. So let's see, and then the rest over here can be bumpy a little bit, not too bumpy, but it's going to be like towns and stuff. So over here is going to be town and stuff, and forest. So before we even start off, what I'm going to start doing first is, and then we're going to have a river here, so I'm going to start creating the form first of the river. So if you guys want to indent it like this, to like go into like indent like so, you guys can do that like that. You just hit control and you click and you'll drag and stuff. So, and actually I changed my mind, we're actually going to subdivide this up to level 8. Again, Shift D, and it's going to go up to 2 million polygons, which is good enough for me right now. But yeah, so first of all, before we even get started, I'm going to start creating the form of the lake. So if you guys can create however the way your map is going to be. So let's do that. Let's bring down this a tiny bit. Okay, so the lake, again, like I said, hold Shift D, I mean not Shift D, Control, and then just start clicking. As you can see, it's a little bit bootlegged, a little bit laggy here. Let's see, we start creating the flow of the lake, the way the lake is going to be surrounding Warstock City. So this is Warstock City. you know, start doing the thing. I'm not the best artiste in terrain, but I can get the job done. Also, we are looking for a artiste, a modeler, and a cinematics person that's good with trailers and making trailers and stuff. If you guys have like any talents like that, you can add us up on Skype in the description below. We're looking for modelers for buildings and zombies and stuff, so if you guys are interested in that, you know, hit us up on Skype. Again, our Skype will be in the description below. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted. Flatten down this area for the lake purposes. Right now this lake looks very small, but in reality it isn't. But yeah, this is basically the start of the lake, the way the lake is going to be, where the water is going to be. But yeah, so now what I'm going to do is open up the brush size a little bit. Possibly, as you can see, I went over here a little bit, made that a little bit more bumpy than it was before over here in this area. Not the best lake, as you can see, but you know, it's getting there. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to, I'm looking at the map right now, so right now I'm just going to you know make this area over here tiny bit bumpy instead of flat, as you can see. Bring down the bus size a little bit, you know, get this moving, have a little bit of bump effects, maybe add a tiny hill right here so it's not so flat here, you know. I'm gonna bring down the ends more, as you can see here, give it that beach effect. Not bring it to the lowest point, not the lowest point, sorry. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm creating a beach shore effect right here so that it goes into the water, which is the best thing you guys could do. Makes it your life a hell lot easier if you guys are trying to make like a beach sort of type terrain. And I'm doing this all around the map, as you can see, like so. So it goes down, you know, bringing down the terrain more. You can see here, and move over here, bring down this more. And also, I am kind of new to terrain editing, so don't judge me if I'm not the best, you know. I'm just trying to teach you guys exactly what I know a little bit. So right here and stuff, you know, make this bumpy. I like to have my areas a little bit bumpy, you know, it gives it that nice little hill effect. But again, go down here, bring that down a little bit, like so. Alright, so you guys are getting the basics right here of how this is coming out. We're gonna start building up the mountain, which is the most important part in my opinion. The game right now, the cities right now, this is pretty good to me. We can bring this up a little bit more, make this a little bit bumpy. You guys can see here. I'm gonna add a crap load of mountains in this game. It's probably just gonna be one main one over here. Again, as I said, I'm gonna have to leave like a little opening here. But yeah, so let's start building up our mountain. So again, you guys can do as you guys don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing, and it's copyright if you were to steal my terrain, so don't do that. Because I'm planning on using this terrain for our game, so yeah. But anyways, again, Shoreside City over here, make this a little bit bumpier over here, make that bumpier here. Alright, Shoreside City, Warstock City, Greystone City. Alright, so now what we're going to do here is, you can see, start building up a mountain type thing right here, you know. So you can see starting to build up little by little. For some reason it's kind of laggy. And yep, Here we go. It's taking a little bit of time here. Start building up the mountain. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause the video very quickly, and I'm going to get back as soon as possible when I'm done with the mountain. Start to build up the mountain, and I'm gonna show you guys and like show you guys exactly what I did and stuff. It's basically the same thing, sculpt, you know. Actually, I don't think it's scoped. It's, which one am I the one? So which one am I supposed to use? Grab. Is it grab smooth? Hold on. Let me see if I'm using. I think I was using the wrong one. Spear scrape. Oh, never mind. It is sculpt. Take that back. Sorry. Scrape is something else. All right. So I will be right back, and when I'm done with the mountain, I will show you. All right. So I figured out why it was when I was recording. And as I was, like, you know, as you can see, painting down the object, it was slowing down. It's because of the subdivision. We subdivided too early, so if you guys did that and you're wondering why it's going slow for you, sorry about that. That was my fault. So I dropped down the opacity. I dropped down the subdivision a little bit by pressing the page down button. As you can see on your keyboard, should be page down. I'm not sure, but that's for the US keyboard. Anyone else, I'm not sure, so you're gonna have to search that up for you and see how you can put down the subdivision here. See here, as you can see here, I am just smoothing out the area a tiny bit with the smooth brush. You know, give it a better effect here, you know, a little bit smoother than it is. So here's my attempt of the mountain I created. Not the best, but you know, it's gonna get us there. It's good enough for now, in my opinion. I like it. I'm not gonna say it's the best, but it's up there. It's good enough, in my opinion. So I put the subdivision up to 7. And to me that looks fantastic for just my mountain. Just kidding. But anyways, right now I am just smoothing around the area, you know, making it a tiny bit smoother. Maybe I might bump this up a tiny bit, make it tiny, maybe a slight bit bumpier. So what we're gonna do is scope this area out more. If you're not, and if it's not bumping up enough for you, you can change the strength over here in this area by clicking down here and going to the advanced, and by putting up this the brush pressure size, I bring that up, and the strength here you can put as strong as you want it. I don't want it to be too strong, so I'm gonna lower that down. I'm gonna shrink the brush by pressing B, holding B and dragging, click and drag, if you guys are wondering. But yeah, so now what I am doing is just finishing up some touches here by bringing this area down more here. I am actually contemplating on making this, making another river over here to maybe split off like different areas. I'm actually thinking of doing that, and I probably am going to do that. You know, it's good to invent, you know, maybe like, you know, try out some different things in Mudbox. I think that's the best thing to do in tutorials. Don't always like follow tutorials. If you guys want to learn, what I do is basically just, you know, watch tutorials. Sometimes I watch tutorials on how to do certain things if I don't know how to do it. But hold on, just making this a little bit more bulky. In my opinion, I don't like the top of this right here. So I'm gonna bring down this right here, bring this up, I'm gonna build this up a tiny bit more than it is built right now. So let's see here, let's build this up more. And it's good to have these type of bumps around the area because it gives it more of a mountainy effect, which I like. I love Mudbox a lot. It's one of my favorite programs to use. So if you guys want a good program, I suggest Mudbox, and you guys can do this in any program you want, but I'm using Mudbox. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually, like I said, I actually am gonna add a river, another one right here. So what I'm gonna do here is, let's bring up the strength a bit. I'm going to add the river to this area here. So here is the second river. I'm actually going to zoom in here, bring that down more so there's not a line here. Don't like that line, so I'll probably smooth that out in a sec. But yeah, like I said, just adding some, do your own thing. Sorry for the keyboard if it's bouncing around. I'm gonna fix that up real quick right here. Alright, so like I said, if you guys want, do your own type of thing, it's your own ideas, the best way to go. It makes you more unique in life as well, by not following exactly what everything is like showing you. So as you can see over here is the shoreside city, and let's see, I don't want shoreside city to be too big because this is right here, this is the whole city. See here, fix this up a little bit more. This is Warstock City, as you can see. But yeah, building up the mountain here real quick. So like I said, I don't want shoreside, sorry, it's a tongue twister, guys. Shoreside city, sorry. Shoreside city having too much terrain. Well, I want it to have terrain, but as you can see right here, it probably looks small as hell, but this is probably going to be this is going to be the second biggest city. So Warstock City is right here, and then right here we have Greystone City, which is going to be across from Warstock, and you can see it. But yeah, like I said, I don't want shoreside city to be too much terrain. Right here, there's probably a good amount of terrain that I cut off here because this is going to be all grass and mini towns in here. But like I said, so shoreside city is going to be right here. Like I already have some names for the city, like Greystone Mountain, all that stuff. Guys, like I said, that's actually a good key to start naming your cities, so you know exactly which one it is and how it's gonna work and how you want it to be. I might add a desert to the game, but that might either be, I'm not sure if that's gonna be for the next expansion pack, what we're gonna do when this game is released. But yeah, I'm still deciding on what we're gonna do. But yeah, so what we're doing here, I'm gonna give you guys notes of like what we're doing. So basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna add expansion packs. So when we do like come out with new terrains and stuff, new like areas of the world, what we're gonna do is basically we're gonna have this all surrounded by water. And what we're going to do is let you be able to fly anywhere throughout the map. But when we do the expansion pack, which is going to be like when there's a new map added, we're going to add a new terrain, and it's going to be like somewhere out in the distance. And what's cool about it is that instead of teleporting there, you guys are actually going to be able to fly over there. We're going to have the option for you guys to be able to teleport if you guys just want to get there, but we're actually going to have like an airport and all that. That's the main reason why we're adding airports to this game, is for that fact. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to add like expansion packs and all that stuff. We're going to add like different types of like worlds and stuff. You can go to like different biomes, maybe biomes or like different areas in different cities. So we're going to add like let's say there's a city over here, you're going to be able to take the airplane, or you can go by boat or whatever. Also, this game is going to be able to, you're going to be able to craft things and build on this land and claim your forts and all that stuff, so you're going to be able to fly like I said, you guys are going to be able to use the airplanes or swim, or use the boat and fly over to that area, which is probably unique, and what I think is actually going to be very cool. To be, I always wanted a game like that, so you know, I'm creating a game that I'm going to enjoy and that I know for a fact everyone else is going to enjoy. We're not sure if we're going to let people be able to mod this game or not. We're thinking about that, so like if people want to like do their own mods and stuff, like we might use that. We might do that for custom mode for one of the game modes. But yeah, I'm just giving you guys a brief overview of how the game is going to be. But yeah, so hopefully no one copyrights our thoughts of the game, which I doubt anyone would. But anyways, hopefully everyone enjoys this. Sorry if you guys are hearing any background noises as well. Alright guys, so sorry about that. We had a couple of interruptions in the video, but it's alright now. There's some couple of interruptions, but that doesn't matter. At least we're back on track. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of tips. So like over here, like I said, is Warstock City, the main city of the game. Over here you want to be very careful with making bumps and stuff. If you're making a city, it depends how the way you want to make it. So however you want to make it, you know, it's your taste. So when you're making a city, you usually want it to be flat, the flattest it can be. It can have slight bumps like here. The reason why I made these slight bumps is because of, as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right here. But these slight bumps is because there's going to be grass planes here. Well, grass textures. So that right there is for like the grass area, and the rest is for mainly cities. The reason why you don't want bumps in this area is because when you put down models or like buildings in the terrain, it's gonna be bumpy and it's gonna glitch and go through your models. So you usually want this area flat, as flat as it can be. So keep that in your notes, to always keep like main cities flat. Like over here, this is gonna be mainly all grass. So if we were to bulk this up more, a little bit more bumpy, maybe add some hills here. I might add some tiny hills here. You can see, you know, because this is gonna be mainly like towns and stuff. So I'm not so worried about this. It's gonna be like farms and stuff. So it's going to be a couple of towns. And again, this may look small, but in reality, if we're going to put, let's say you're using Unity, you can extend the terrain as far as you want. So this could be very, very huge, which we plan on doing. But we're not using Unity. We're going to use our own hardcore coded engine. So stay tuned for that. If you guys, which Mike's going to be posting up some tutorials, or not tutorials, but videos of the engine and how the coding is going so far, which either might be later on today. So anyways, like I said, leave the cities flat as you can. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there, but yeah, you guys get the point. So now what we're going to be focusing mainly on is the way the mountain is going to be. As you can see, there's some bumps on the mountain. That is good to have, because if you are trying to make a rocky mountain, as which I am trying to do, it is the best way to keep it's the best way to make like the mountains like stand out more, make it more bulky and rocky, and it's gonna come out nice. So it's gonna come out good with the textures and stuff. So let's say let's start building up this mountain a tiny bit more. So right now I'm using the sculpt tool with the fall off level of this. I'm not sure, I don't think they have names, but I'm using this fall off level. We're gonna use stamps in a few, but not yet. I'm gonna add a little bit more effect to this. And what I did at first, as you can see, there's a little spiral right here. I don't like that, and the reason why I did that is so people could climb up here on the mountain. So we're gonna try to fix that out right here. They're gonna be able to climb up eventually. They can land helicopters on here. We're probably gonna add, like, I might flatten one area. Whoops. Mountain. I might flatten down one area of the mountain, because we're probably gonna put like a helipad up here. So be careful here. Let's see, flatten this area out more. Make it more rounded. You can see here. Sorry for the computer if you hear a lot of like fan noise, because there's like a stock market graphics card in there, and you're gonna want like a non-stock fan, and that's the reason why. Stock market brands suck that come with stock market fans. But yeah, anyways, maybe indent this down more. Look more, you know, out there. And I'm going to show you guys how to import this as a height map as well, so stay tuned for that, because this is basically just to build up our mountain the way it looks. So this mountain, I think, in my opinion, this mountain is coming out pretty fucking fantastic. I might, if I don't say myself. I just recently got into terrains, believe it or not. I just got into terrains a few days ago, actually, because I wasn't sure what I was going to be working on in the game, so I decided terrains is probably my thing, and I enjoy doing this. I don't do this, like, I don't do this for professional use. I do this more for a hobby now. So any beginners out there like me, I'm sort of a beginner. I know my fair share of Mudbox in the programs. I think Mudbox is probably the best program to use for like terrains and like models and stuff. In my opinion, I do like Mudbox a lot. So if anyone wants to, you know, if you guys like use different programs, you know, you can still follow my steps and all that stuff. But as you can see right here, we are just making what I like to call these are slants. So basically, like, slants to give the to make the mountain pop out more, I would say. But yeah, so do that. I'm thinking of adding a radio area over here, maybe an abandoned radio station, or like radio. It's gonna be called like probably like. Actually, I want there to be a point. So maybe like a radio, Greystone radio, which is probably, it's gonna be an abandoned radio station up here. Thinking about that, probably now that I thought about that, we're probably gonna add it. Okay, so there we go. Right here, I'm just adding a little. I'm not trying to spend too much time in this. Well, actually, I mean, you might as well. I'm trying to, because this is just like development of how the game is gonna be. So it's gonna be a long video. So if you guys want to just watch, you know, you guys can skip, fast forward. But if you guys want to learn, I suggest you just watch. So right now, I'm just building up the terrain. I mean, not the terrain. Sorry, I keep getting confused. The mountain, you know, giving it some rocky looks, as you can see here. So I build up. I love making mountains because I love to make like effects for them and stuff. It's my thing. After this, we're gonna import this into World Machine, and I'm not a professional World Machine, but I know a little bit, enough to teach you guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to split that into part 2 or if I'm going to add that on into the video. Let's see, very nice. Alright, so I think now this mountain is possibly ready for stamps, one of the certain stamps that I'm going to use. Alright, so now this mountain I believe is ready for stamps. Maybe add more here, bring that down more. I'm debating if I should add like a lake around this, since I already had a lake over here. But yeah. Alright, so here is the mountain. As you can see, Greystone Mountain. I want to flatten out some of this a tiny bit. Alright. Maybe flatten out this. So, sorry, I almost started coughing. Okay, now we're ready for stamps. So, for stamps is basically what we're going to use for stamps is stamps is for effects, to give it more of a rocky edge to it, or a rocky taste for to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our scrape tool, and with our scrape tool we're going to choose a stamp, which is for you guys can choose whatever stamp you want, whatever effect you think is good for you guys, but for me I'm going to choose this stamp. I'm not sure if there's really a name for it. BW Cliff Safe stamp, I guess you could say. We're going to use that, and we're going to mess with this. Make sure this is checked. Use stamp image. Brush size, bring that up a tiny bit, I guess. Alright, so what we're going to do now for basically for scrape, it scrapes out the texture for you, so it gives it a nice like rocky texture. So with this stamp, what we're doing is basically, you know, giving this a nice, you know, rocky feeling to it. You guys can't really see it now, but it's getting there. You guys can't see it because it's low on subdivision, but you guys might be able to see it. I might bring up the subdivision really quickly to see how it's coming out, because I want to make sure I'm getting every angle, as you might say. Let's see here. Right now I'm just adding like in different areas. As you can see here. Sorry again for the fan. It's annoying, I know. So let's see how it looks now if we were to subdivide this up into level 8. So you can see here, you can see it a tiny bit, not too much. I think we were to subdivide this a little bit more. Sorry, it's taking a little bit of time, because that's a lot of subdivision. See now, you can see it now. So yeah, I'm gonna drop down the subdivision twice very quickly, and wait for this to load up. I think I brought it down one more. I need to one more. Alright, that's good. So what we're doing now is we are just scraping down the rock a little bit with the stamp. We are almost done, guys, don't worry. This gives it a, you know, nice effect. Gives it a nice, very nice rocky effect, in my opinion. See this, fix this up, you know. We're just adding random scratches to the rock, you know, give this nice feel to it. You don't want it to be too plain, you know. So exactly why I added the bumps. I'm actually gonna fix this right here. I'm not liking that hole. There we go. Fix that hole. this hole right here as well. Maybe build. Actually, let's see if I can smooth that out. Right there. Yep, there we go. Now it's gone. Alright. Let's go back into Scrape. Sorry, I had a little moment there for a second. I had to fix that up. Scrape. And, you know, again, I gotta smoothen that out too. I don't know where these are coming from. But yeah, smoothing some of these out. Alright, so scrape. Let's go back into this. Alright, now we can, you know, get back to our scraping. Scrape, scrape, scrape. If you want, you know, get some right here on top. Sorry for the obnoxious clicking. I'm American and can't even pronounce any words. Alright, so here we go with the terrain. Go, you know, take your time. You know, you guys can skip this part if you want. But, you know, it's good to pay attention. So this, you know, add some effects. See what this effect does. Let's see. Let's divide that, subdivide that very quickly. We gotta bring this up a lot. Just subdivide again. Sorry, it's freezing right now because if you bring this up to a high subdivision, it really kicks off. Do that. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna have to lower that down to level 8. Just wait for this. Alright, now it's at level 8. So divided. Now we're just gonna go around it, you know, finish up where we started. As you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but here are some of the, you know, the effects we added. I'm gonna keep this at level 8, and let's see. So divide smoothens out the rock a tiny bit, but we're straight with that. Alright, just add a little bit more, and we're almost done to we're almost done with this part. Alright, a little bit more over here. Alright, here we're just giving it, the reason why we're doing this is to give it, you know, a little rocky effect to it. I'm actually gonna bulk up this to give it, you know, let's see if we can give it more of a nicer effect to it. There we go. See, I should have done that before. Now we're getting a nice effect to it. There we go. That's what I was looking for, guys. That's what I was looking for. We don't want to waste too much time with this. So let's, you know, add this all around. I just realized that the bigger the brush, the better it is. So alright. Okay. Alright. A little bit more. I might smoothen it down a tiny bit up in this area. I feel like we have a little bit too much. Alright, so now time for our smooth tool. We're gonna smoothen out some of this right here. Smooth that out, and now I like it. Alright, so it seems now that we are done here. Just make sure that the water is leveled more. We're gonna scope this out a tiny bit more than it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your pants. Just kidding. But put this right here like so. Build this up more. Again, sorry for the background noise. You guys are hearing a lot of like jumping and stuff, and screaming. But yeah, this is for the lake, so the lake flow, like just, you know, giving a little bit more touch up to it, so you guys can see. Okay. Alright, so far so good. I'm not sure. I think this is level 8, so what we're gonna do is see what it does if we bring it down one. This is level 7. I think we're gonna bring this up. We're probably gonna keep it at level 8, so let's see. Let's subdivide that one more time. We're gonna keep it at level 8. At level 8, sorry. Alright, so we're done with this here. Depending if you're done or not. Bring that down more. Okay. We're done with this. See if everything is the way I want it. Actually, hold on, we're not done just quite yet. I want to smoothen this down. I'm gonna bring this down a tiny bit, and I'm gonna smoothen this area down a bit because it's a little bit too like scopy, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't, but who cares. It actually might build up this. Alright, bring this down over here. We're just bringing this down for C reasons, for the C. So see this. Hold on, I gotta. Alright, sorry about that. Another interruption. Alright, but anyways, yep. So we should be done with this. I'm sorry, I am just, you know, leveling this down for the C area. Reason why, again, is for the fact that there's going to be water coming up towards the land. For the, alright, so sorry about that, we have some interruptions. So what we did here is, again, right here near the, why it's bended more down over here, as you can see, again, so water flows up into the ocean, so like it looks like it's basically into the ocean, if that makes any sense. It goes more into the ocean. And Mike's here with us.
Hello there.
Welcome, Mike. But yeah, so far so good.
I wasn't here for the whole thing, and I love it.
Yeah.
So it's good.
As you can see, you like the mountain over here that we're creating, right? It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is Greystone Mountain. I was explaining that to them. Alright, but now I'm going to be teaching them how to do the height map. I mean the height map and how to bring it into World Machine. So now we're on that step. How long is this tutorial? It's 24 minutes. Not bad. But yeah, anyways. So now what we're gonna do is, as you can see, this is the reason you have to name these planes and everything. So what we're gonna do is duplicate this mesh. So we're gonna create a high poly and low poly. So what we're gonna do now is right click. I believe it is. Is it right click? Hold on. Is it Control C, Control V? Maybe I could do that. Not found. Let's see. Duplicate layer. Where is it? Hold on. Duplicate. Oh, there we go. As you can see, now it duplicated the mesh. Wait, did it? Hold on. Alright, sorry, I figured it out. I'm dumb. We were in the wrong thing. I told you guys I was a noob at this a little bit. But everyone makes mistakes. So here is both of these duplicates. It's because we need to create a high poly and a low poly. So what we're gonna do is, for mesh, we're gonna rename this mesh underscore HP, and for mesh 1 we are gonna rename this mesh underscore LP. So now what we're gonna do is create a height map. Sorry. So what you want to do is, first of all, select HP, mesh HP, or is it low poly? Select low poly first, doesn't matter. But anyways, you're gonna go to UVs and maps, and then in UVs and maps, we're gonna go to extract texture maps, and then we're gonna hit new operation. Okay, so for the new operation, what we're gonna do is we're gonna select displacement map. So for low resolution mesh, we are going to click add selected, which is the low poly, and then for the source models for high resolution maps, we're gonna hit the HP for this one, and then we're gonna hit add selected. So here's low poly and then high poly. And then for this, after we have done that, make sure you have everything here, make sure everything's right. You're gonna leave ray casting the way it is, leave that the way it is. Now we're gonna change this 16 bits per channel, preview as bump map, and now for base file name, it's basically where you want it to render out to. So again, in the folder that you created, we're actually going to create a new folder. We're going to call this height maps, or rename this actually height map. I like to be specific, sorry. We're going to drag this into terrain plane, and we're going to go in here and we're going to rename this first height map, TRD. Okay, so make sure this is, I believe we're gonna change this to TIFF 16-bit integer for the first height map, since World Machine can read TIFFs, TIF or TIFF, whatever it is, 16-bit integer, and we're gonna hit save. Now that we're done that, we are going to hit, I believe, extract, if I'm correct, which I am correct. So now what we're waiting is for the map to extract, to render. So I'll be right back when this is done rendering. Alright, so once you hit extract, this should pop up. As you can see, map extraction finished successfully. Now what we're going to do is just hit OK on that. Hit close with that. I already saved this, so I'm going to just hit, actually I'm going to hit Shift Control S. Leave just to make sure. File save scene. Alright, so we're done with this for now. Now what I'm going to do is bring you into World Machine. But before we do that, let me show you the height map, and we're going to make sure that came out the way I want it to do. The way I wanted it to do. I can't view that right now. Alright, so it did not come out the way I wanted it to view. The way I wanted it to be. Extra large icons. Alright, you can see the mountain didn't come out exactly the way it was supposed to. So we're gonna have to reopen up Mudbox. Luckily I saved it. So terrain plane, terrain, Mudbox raw. So that didn't come out the way it was supposed to. So let's wait for this to open up very quickly. Yep, continue trial. I have the 30-day trial. Alright, so let's open this back up. Let's open this bad boy up. Alright, let's hit OK. Let's hurry up here. Hurry up, hurry up. There we go. So let's see what we can do to fix that. Okay, whoa, so you can see here, there's our error, our mistake right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna delete this low poly. I'm not sure why that's, whoops, sorry, I restored the low poly. I'm not sure why that's doing that. Alright, alright guys, so I figured out the problem. Alright, so if you guys are having this problem, it's not coming the way you want it to be, what you're gonna want to do is, again, keep this the way it is, everything the way it is. I'm actually gonna lower this down. Nah, I'm gonna leave that the way it is. Okay. So, in order to fix that, what you want to do is go to UV maps again, extract texture maps. My extraction operation 1, displacement map. So right here, the search distance is at 51. So you guys are going to go for a higher one. So I'm just going to go for 180 and see how that goes. And image size, we're actually going to change the image size. Sorry, I messed up there. The image size is going to be 2048 by 2048. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to mess up there. Messed up there a little bit. Again, I am still learning little by little. So alright, so this is the same name again. So we're just going to hit extract here. Target mode is not specified. Alright, hold on, let me see this. My extraction, displacement. Oh yeah, we have the level 9 high poly, and then we have this one, which is this one, add selected. Make sure that's 180. 16-bit. Alright, we're gonna extract. And I'm gonna pause the video again, and we're going to, I'll get back to you as soon as it is done. Alright, so once again, we are at the screen. It is finished. Alright, it wasn't that long, probably took about a minute. So as you can see, the error went away finally. So let's hope for best luck. Now as you can see here, the height map came out the way it's supposed to come out. So now what I'm going to show you is how to import this into world machine. Sorry, I got lost there for a second. So we're on world machine, and we are now going to highlight. Oh, whoops, world machine is still starting up. It's lagging out for me. Okay, there we go. So what we're gonna do now is just highlight these three main outputs. Well, not outputs, but whatever you call these things. I'm not sure the name of them. And then we're going to delete these. And if you guys are wondering how to drag, is you hold the left mouse button and just drag it, or if you want to move around within this, you right click, and to move around with this you just scroll in, and again with the right click you just hold it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add in a file input. So this is how we are going to get our mountain into the world machine. So now we are going to double click here in the file input and then select load. Once you get into load, you're going to locate where your file is. But see, our file here is loaded for our height map now. So now if we go into the 3D view, here is what our height map looks like in the terrain editor. This mountain is a little bit smaller. I'm not sure why this seems to do that, but we could fix that later on. So I'm not sure why it does that, but for some reason it looks smaller. So anyways, regard that. We're going back into the full view, field view I believe it's called, I'm not sure. But now if we are going to edit it now, so if we were going to head over into favorites, if you guys want to use this effect, you guys can use whatever effects you want, you know, just looking around and stuff. You guys are here just for like development to see how the game goes. So we're just showing you guys from start to finish, and maybe try to teach you guys a little bit of something. So now if we go into select erosion, we already selected the erosion. Again, if you guys click it, you know, tap it here. If you guys want, you know, how to get rid of it is to right click it. So right click it, 3D view not select or device not build. Hold on, sorry. Let's see right here. Okay, now if you guys would like to you know, select it or whatever, that's how you get rid of it. For this, you're just going to left click and just hit delete. And now what you're going to do is for file input, we are going for the primary output height field, and we're going to select that there for erosion. And now for erosion, we are going to select a good one. So I tend to like a flood of fury, which well, a flood of slurry, which you may say. You know, give that nice little effect there, and then go into the view, 3D view, sorry. And as you can see here, not much of an effect. So let's go back into our field view and let's switch that over to a flood of fury and hit OK, because that's what we did, didn't we? Oh, there it is. Alright, now that we have that here, here's the effect. That may seem to you, oh, that looks nice, but now I'm going to show you something a little bit more unique. Go into here, and we're going to be rendering 512 by 512 to make it a little bit faster, but to make it a little bit more high quality, we'll put it at 1025 by 2025. The original is uncheck that to get the +1 off. The original is 2048 by 2048. So we'll put the render view at 512, well, not 512, sorry, 1024 by 1024. we'll do that, and then we'll hit the build. Now if we let this build in with the erosion, shouldn't take too long. It gives us this nice effect here. It seems to me a little bit too much, but we could fix that off by smoothing it out later on into this video. Okay, so now that we've done that, we are going to head into our device view, and then we're going to head into coastal overlay and add macros into it. So now if we were to go to output and do overlay view over here, and here we have our overlay view. So now we're gonna hit now preview locked once we hit the lock preview, and then from there we are going to look for our macros, which is open. I'm not gonna show you guys how to do this. It's quite simple. All you gotta do is just head and go download this from like let's see, that's coastal overlay macro. You download it from here. Get that nice effect which you look. You can download it from there. Okay, so now I'm just gonna select this one and just hit load. Drop that off right there next to the erosions. After that, you're gonna hit erosions like so. You're going to hit the bottom one, connect to the bottom one. Treat these out a little bit more better. The bottom one, and then from there, click to there. Now, if we lock the preview, we can head into the 3D view, which is right here, and we can start to use a better taste for it. We can have a little bit more of a better taste. So if we open up closer overlay, we can change the cliff slope, max beach height, and the water. So I'll bring the water down to negative. Sun heading, we will bring that up like so right there, and we will put the max cliff slope, which is the grass, which is controlled by the grass. Here is like right here. Put it down to about right there, maybe a little bit more. We can do it a little bit better. Greystone Mountain, which is right here. The max beach height, we are going to change that to that. From there, the water height, leave that like so. Do that. So, and we're going to be able to change the way that looks later on. So now if we were to hit build, and just wait for that to render out. Should hurry up, it doesn't take too long. There we go. Now that we hit build, we have this nice rendered scene right here. Very nice texturing. You can see this is Greystone Mountain here, but we're gonna change that up, so don't worry. Now, as you can see here, this is the way it looks. Pretty nice just to start off with, but not bad at all. Good taste. We gotta fix this eventually, but not quite yet.